Yeah.
But he decided to stay the course, and to me, that's kind of, again, looking long-term rather than something short-term. How big is it to have him back and the fact that he's, staying?
Oh, yeah. And I love Cam. I love his family, and I appreciate the loyalty as well, because there was tampering going on with him, and there were, third parties, and that's how it's done. It's never done from direct coach to player. It's the third party stuff. But he held his ground, and he stuck his feet in, and their family realized that he's not only grown as a baseball player but as a person, and his friends are here, and he's thriving here, and you don't want to mess with success, and he's very successful here, and he's really made a name for himself in short order. So yeah, it's exciting to think about his trajectory and about the career that he can build for himself on that trajectory, and being able to play this great game for a long, long time. And I love his fire, and I love his competitiveness, and I don't want him to lose that for 1 second, because it's what makes him great. And he's awesome, and we love having him. I'm glad he's on our team and staying on our team.
Can he play shortstop if you needed him to?
He can play anywhere. Cam Cannarella can play infield, outfield, pitch, and catch. He's just one of those. He's a ball player, He's just got that it factor, and yeah. But he's, sure looks like he's found a home in center field, because he does that very well.
How do you evaluate Ethan Darden's freshman season, and just what do you feel like is the ceiling for him going forward?
Kind of that same thing as a guy who came in and just continued to grow and improve and progress quickly. And again, for him, it's a lot of that same competitive fire that Cam Cannarella has. Ethan Darden has all of that as well. And I think a lot of that has to do with their upbringing and just some of their life experiences up to this point. But he's a perfect example of a guy that his role at the beginning of the season did nothing but improve as the season went on, because he maximized his opportunities as a margin guy and as a matchup guy and as a short reliever and as a long reliever. And then before you know it, he's getting Tuesday starts in the midweek, and then before you know it, he's pitching on Fridays. And so he's just, his mentality, I think, is what his biggest strength, more than just the way his ball sinks and runs and his secondary stuff. So I see him continuing to make these strides physically to his body as he has another birthday, another trip around the sun, and gets adds some more strength, adds some more weight. His stuff continues to improve. His command continues to improve, but he keeps that same mindset. That's where you see guys like that just take a jump and reach another level. But we trust him, and there's a reason why he was pitching on the weekends for us.
You're in the season. People always have to get stuff cleaned up, get healthy. How are you health-wise heading into fall ball?
I think we've got some bumps and bruises and nicks and scrapes. It's I think there's some guys that are going to need some time off that have gone off and done well in the summer, and but that's the other thing. That's the exciting thing too. We've had some guys go off and have great summers, guys all-star type summers in their respective leagues. Nolan Naraki, Nate Hall, Cooper Blauser, guys who Cooper and Nolan saw no action last year. Nate saw limited action, but these guys all went off and kicked butt in their summer leagues, and there's others in that grouping as well. So excited about what they're doing coming back. But then there's another group that, Austin Gordon pitched a lot last year. He went off to Team USA with Cam Cannarella. He pitched some there. He's started last night in the Cape. He's thrown about 10 more innings in the Cape. So, there'll be some guys that, it's not necessarily that are managing injuries. It's more us taking measures to prevent those injuries, so from overuse, and so just really, there'll be a lot more, I think, of that as a topic of conversation. You may not see some guys, pitch or do things as much in the fall, just because they're on a different timeline getting ready for next season.
Specifically, Billy Barlow, just a guy who had arm issues or shoulder issues during the season. How is he physically, and is there hope that they'll be available?
Oh yeah, we're excited about Billy. He was the bad luck recipient of just kind of having one one thing after the next, and we you know, weren't really sure because on all the testing, you know, it didn't look like a lot of structural, you know, or structural problem, like there wasn't a tear in this ligament or that tendon or whatever, but it turns out that, you know, they went in and had it looked at to get it cleaned up, and there were some things to clean up. And so he's been rehabbing aggressively, and he'll be back at it and return to form. Because you remember in the fall, he was 95, 96 and pitching well in the fall and was very much a candidate to be a weekend starter. So we're looking at him very much as a candidate in that weekend rotation or in our starting rotation next year. And Billy brings an element of, you know, he's not only super hyper competitive, but you know, he keeps everybody loose, and he's character, and he's a great teammate. And even though he wasn't able to play at the end there, you know, he was a kind of an invaluable guy that we just had to have and needed his voice and needed his positive energy because he adds a lot of value with all of that.
I guess in terms of the recruiting class, how many of these guys were people that you recruited while you were at Michigan? And how do you make that choice in terms of, I don't want to bring them over to the Clemson recruiting class as opposed to they were guys who recruited Michigan?
Yeah, there was a couple Michigan kids that were committed to Michigan that flipped over, 2 Michigan kids in particular. But yeah, I mean, all the names, all the guys, like, you know, it's our job. Coach Schnabel does an unbelievable job of having a pulse on all the top players in the country. So there were some pieces in this class, you know, coming in that absolutely, yeah, we recruited at Michigan but didn't get and lost to Clemson on them, and now we're glad that we lost them to Clemson. But everyone coming in, I mean, this is a very good class coming in, and then obviously identified some needs, you know, with some transfers out of the portal. But yeah, we feel really good about this class, and think, you know, with what we've got coming back and who we've got coming in, you know, there's no reason why we can't take that next step.
Coach, we were talking to some of the Clemson football coaches that were just coming in, and they were saying as much preparation as they didn't understand fully what the job was until they were thrown into the fire. So what are some of the things you learned last year that you're grateful to actually have done the job that you're trying to carry into this upcoming season?
You know, the fan base here and the community here is, I'm really glad that we took the approach last fall of being active in the community and doing the community service type work that we did. I think it allowed us to build a lot of relationships, in some cases repair some relationships, but just getting out there and doing events for children, for the elderly, for Night to Shine and some special needs folks and students. Just being, you know, student athletes that are seen as student athletes that want to give and not all about just getting. I think resonated with this community because this, you know, Clemson family means something to a lot of people, and so feeling like we are contributive members of this Clemson family was very important. So, you know, that's something I'm glad our team did and will continue to do, and maybe even do it at even a higher clip this fall, this winter, and this spring. But just getting engaged with the Clemson community and the Clemson family, that was awesome, and that was a very important part of our success, especially seeing how our fans showed up there at the end.